If you have heard of the term Steno pool, then you must be interested in the vintage secretaries who once occupied the mid-century office. These old photographs capture the essence of a bygone era, reflecting a period of past history that has been forever changed. As we journey through these vintage photos, we are transported to a time when the role of the secretary was vastly different from what it is today. The secretary, as the mid-century once knew her, is now extinct, replaced by the modern-day administrative assistant. The role of the vintage secretary was once solely the domain of women, who were considered the sexy underlings. However, with the advancement of technology and the changing dynamics of the office, the traditional role of the secretary has evolved. The rise and fall of the secretary occupation can be seen in the historical context of the era. Following World War II, women infiltrated the workforce, and the role of the secretary saw a meteoric rise. The vintage secretary was expected to dress impeccably and fulfill the demands of the men in charge without question, often becoming the object of jokes and stereotypes. Photographs from the 1950s and 1960s capture the essence of this era, showcasing the working conditions and expectations placed on the vintage secretary. The secretary was often portrayed as a seductress, a trope that was commonly seen in mid-century themes. The photos from the 1970s marked the decline of the vintage secretary, reflecting the changing landscape of the workplace and the transition from the old-school secretarial world to a more enlightened and improved environment. The image of the secretary as an unskilled sex object was already prevalent amidst the burgeoning women's liberation movement. As we delve deeper into the vintage photos, we witness the evolving nature of the secretary position, from the introduction of male secretaries to the crossover period between the old-school secretarial world and the enlightened, new and improved world. Through these photographs, we gain insight into the challenges and obstacles faced by the vintage secretaries, as well as the cultural and societal norms that shaped their working environment. The images depict the struggles and expectations placed on these women, shedding light on the unfair circumstances they endured. The decline of the vintage secretary marked the end of an era, giving way to a more modern and progressive workplace environment. The photos serve as a reminder of the changes that have taken place over the years and allow us to reflect on the evolution of the role of the secretary. The most exciting part is still ahead, so let's immerse ourselves in the images and reminisce about that era. As we journey through these old photographs, we are reminded of the significant impact of the vintage secretary on the history of the workplace, and the lasting legacy they have left behind.